Hey, everybody. Hi, guys. Okay, good. It's working. I didn't know if it was working. Oh, man. So sorry for all of those who did not. Jack is sleeping. Poor Jack is probably sleeping, and I'm so sorry for that. Um, I put the link in the chat that's under Jack, so if you guys can share it out, I'm going to try doing that in a second. Um, yay. I'm glad everybody's here. Let me just copy. Oh no, I'm like not signed into anything. Poopy. Thank you all for being here. I don't ever do lives on my channel, ever. I hate Facebook. I'm going to talk about Antarctica today and some of the stuff that I've been pretty much pushed into. So we can get started on that. Okay, kind of got that done. All right. So there's a lot of articles and stuff that I have researched, and throughout my entirety of just my awakening and my knowing, I was pressed to go and deep dive into why 211 is a big significant number for me. Never knew why I kept seeing 211 at the time. 211, my house plot number, I found out when I was moving, was 211. Obviously, I have the Stargate. Obviously, it's opened up, and I didn't know where it was and where it went to. So just diving in deep, I found out that there is a base 211. It's in Antarctica. It's hidden, secretive. Shh, don't tell anybody. And basically, the unfoldment of what was going on in base 211 is frightening. Um, Back in the day, World War II, even before that, Admiral Byrd discovered that there was a lot of lands beyond the fact and saw some not okay things like UFOs and places to be. And a lot of things in there were to be discovered. Propulsion laboratories, UFO laboratories, my labs kind of stuff, all the dark black agencies were there underneath in Antarctica. They were testing crafts. They were re-engineering the tech off of those crafts. Within those crafts were other types of technology that is still being harbored and kept secretive today. When we go into those technologies, it's just a reverse engineering of a lot of stuff. But back in World War II, when our friend descended down to Antarctica with his team of people, it wasn't just Germany going down there. It was other countries also aligning together to get the same technology and to work together. So that's why there's a treaty enacted, because it's not just Germany. Germany holds and holds that stronghold there, but it's not just Germany. But they had streamlined everything there. This is James Rink's book, highly recommended, The Lone Wolf. There's so much in this book, but a lot of information on Nakwafen, who made New Berlin on the moon and on Mars. A lot of that stuff is in his book, so go get that. A lot of things have happened in Antarctica since Admiral Byrd, since World War II, since people kept seeing flying saucers and aliens and talking about it. And for me, going into vivid dreams and being able to project my light body has helped me enable a bigger understanding of that facility. My Stargate had a portal going to that base. I have pictures. I don't know if I can bring it up. I'll see if I can try. I have pictures of a Draco in my house, and I had to close that Stargate. So I was never able to go physical body. They might have just taken my astral celestial form to that base, but I do remember having vivid dreams of being in a wormhole, being portaled, and then being brought up into the base. I didn't really remember too much after that, but I do remember seeing craft and people engineering things, and they weren't human. Fun times. Fun times. Yeah. So guys, I don't have moderators or anything because this is like the first time I'm doing live stuff. So I can always impart all those things on people when I get a chance. So I did a reading on the Urantia book the other day. And in that section of Urantia, it goes into the Ice Age and it goes down to the land formations. And I really wanted to start there, but hi. So in the Urantia book, it talks about the land masses being different places and spots and tectonic plates and ice ages and all that fun stuff happened. When Antarctica, from my own interpretation and perception of this 3D reality, has formed was when Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu fell. And the tectonic plates pushed a lot of those land masses, including South America and Australia, together to create the ring. The Vedics and the Norse have that ring in a lot of depictions. That ring was formed, but Antarctica at first was tropical. And a lot of hidden technology from those times were placed in the ground, in the oceans, in the mountain ranges. And as Atlantis fell and sank, all that technology merged with the land ice. Then you got the firmament. Yes, I believe there is a firmament. I've been researching this a lot with the Law of One. I've been re-listening to Quo because I'm from that social memory complex. I am finding out more and more about it, but they talk about time laterals. And they also talk about the firmament and it being the holograph. So that's why if we're whizzing through space, we're only seeing a certain amount of celestial bodies up in the sky. Why is that? We have to question these things. Why are we doing this? instead of moving, inverting forward. The time lateral is a parallel matrix. Ashiana Dean talks about this, that we're parallel. We got, to me, in my opinion, we got taken out of the actual matrix, the bad matrix, and now we're inserting ourselves into where we need to be. And that firmament is all around Antarctica. The Nos Confunded map Jason puts up all the time will show you that big circle. Within that big circle, all those land masses over millions of years took all that technology and hid it underneath Antarctica. And I believe that base 211 has a pyramid, a crystal pyramid, that they're using to distort a lot of shit. Now, the alien races that are in Antarctica, Draco, the bad, the positive polarized Draco are not in Antarctica. Unless they aren't here now, I don't know. But I know when I was there in my light body, negative, polarized. Tall grays, the Mitra especially, are there. And they're all doing experiments. The aliens from Project Serpo, they're there as well. Those little guys are the slaver bee, hive-minded guys who are there doing and running experiments, and that's taking people to that base. And that's one of many other bases on Antarctica, is humongous. But that's one of the bases that they're doing, like Area 51. And it really all started being discovered around World War II. This is where our friend from Germany came down and took a lot of people with him, and not just him, other countries, Italy being one of them, Japan, going down there and reinventing the wheel, per se, with technology. Now, rumor has it that our friend in Germany signed a treaty with the Draco. Could this be? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I do believe he did sign with the Draco, who at the time was in alliance with the Nordics. The Nordics have a positive faction and a negative faction. We live in duality. This is third density. Two poles, positive and negative. And both of them work together at some point. There was a Palladian treaty, I believe, in 1993 that was breached. That's also with Ashiana Dean's work. A lot of these things, these treaties that we have no awareness of, we really don't know what Hitler signed. We don't know what other countries signed with these extraterrestrials, extra terra. But what we do have an understanding is that the UAPs and UFOs are real, that they've been down there and they have been controlled by different factions. And the factions is all based on who is warring over the wormholes and stargates. Antarctica has a huge stargate. It's not mapped. Not mapped. I believe that there is a portal there that goes to Aldebaran, which is where the Greys and the Draco have a hiding spot with the illumined people. They're there, portaling back and forth. And that's where we have the slave trade, which is done by the military industrial complex. We talk about in our community the trade, but no one talks about it going off planet, but a few people. James, not in this book, but in a few of his Super Soldier Talk channel, talks about it. They take people, abduct them, and then they whiz off. And then they're never seen again. And where do they go? Off planet or off Terra. The Law of One talks about there is gateways into this quarantined earth or quarantine land. There is ways for them to get in and out. This is a concern for everybody because who knows what's going on right now with the stargates and the wormholes and the portals and all that other fun stuff that we see because it's interdimensionally. It can happen in 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D. We don't know what council, what federation, or whatever have you is in control of that trade. And I'm being very careful how I use my words on this platform. Antarctica brings up a lot of questions for so many people. We have yet to see, there are documentaries of people who have gone down there, who've found different types of bases and different formations of things and large scale Anunnaki type looking statues in the ice. People have been taken out for that information. So we can only imagine what is the Game of Thrones version of what's behind and over that wall. That wall is vast and huge. We really don't know what's there. What actually is the firmament? What is it? Is it a crystal structure? They talk about the blue ice. We can only imagine the propensity of what that is. And if we ever do get to discover or find that information, that'd be great. But 21 countries, it's not easy to think about how many countries are involved and why are they involved. What's at stake? What's under there besides a base, besides crystals? What are they mining there? Are they mining anything? These are the questions that we all have to have answered. I know for myself, when I got taken through and portals in, I was portaled into a base. I wasn't portaled into a cave or I didn't get to go on the top and walk around the surface of Antarctica in my light body. I didn't get to do that. But I did get little glimpses of spacecraft and people working on different types of technology. I couldn't tell you what. Didn't make sense to my eyes or my comprehension of life. But these are the things that are always questioning for all of us. Let's get, again, we go back to Reconstructing Reality, and this is the first book, The Visit from Venus, Visions from Venus. And they talk about how Atlantis came down. If we can imagine the Bermuda Triangle having crystal pyramids that are magnetic forces taking in airplanes and sinking boats and doing all that kind of stuff, what can you imagine is in Antarctica? And if Atlantis was humongous, it was in between the United States, England, Africa, and South America. It was different islands and different portions. And reading through this first book, they go into having to hold the pillars of light, that they were going to pass away. I don't want to give too much of the story away, but they were the light holding the light. These beings, there are white robes, gray robes, and black robes. There was dark magic happening. You see, I'm celebrated. There was a lot of negative stuff going on even back then. And that is one of the major reasons why Gaia had to do her thing and get rid of everything. The people who were practicing that dark art stuff were really the catalyst to why a lot of us are back here. They sunk it. They destroyed to make a new cycle. Now think about Lemuria and Mu. What is in those land masses? I can probably attest people that lived in Hawaii. That's really where Lemuria was. And in the South Pacific, that's where Mu was. And that's all in speculative sense, because we really unless we all remember where we were back in that time frame, we really don't know. But they came down. The land masses were shifting and things were shifting. I speak about that in Urantia. Things were shifting. Land bridges were here and then they disappeared. Land bridges reappeared, they disappeared. This back and forth. So if you can imagine Atlantis having multiple pyramids of crystals in the ground, in the water, on the bottom of the ocean, and now land masses are being shifted, things are being shifted into Antarctica. It being a circle, per se, we don't really know what really could be under there. And how vast is Antarctica? How many bases are on Antarctica? They only tell you the little portion that humans can see on a boat. And if you are lucky enough to be a scientist to go there and discover, you're not able to go over no-fly zones or the military bases. And a lot of people had to sign those documents saying they have to. So it's a very interesting topic because we have a lot of stuff from Admiral Byrd. We have a lot of stuff from World War II on that invasion of Antarctica, but we also don't necessarily have too much information since then. People have written and put together some articles and stuff, but it doesn't really explain what's going on besides what we know from World War II. I know now a lot of our illumined ones were summoned there. So let's just say the positive polarity of our beings that are helping us, the light beings, are coming down and they're helping us. What does that spell out for us? Why shouldn't we know about these things? I believe all is an illusion. This is just an illusion. This is all just an experience for us to wake up. I detached emotionally a very long time ago. More so the last 6 months. Because we want to believe the best in people, but even the people that we are all championing to help us, there's deception in not speaking it out into the ether, into the universe. I'm just going to plainly put it there. It's not okay when you're not speaking the truth and you're not bringing it out for people. If it is a real movie, we all signed up, we all wrote this movie together, and we're all discovering and trying to get our downloads and uploads to remember these pasts that we have all had. Whether you are on Lemuria, whether you were on Mu, whether you are from Atlantis, a lot of us are. We came here to save Earth. We all came here, reincarnated here, I believe, for the most part, from different social memory complexes to be here to save Earth, so that there would not be an Atlantis 2.0. All of our energy combined, if we all succinctly manifest fourth density, which is already absolutely here, we just have to get our 3D bodies to rise up into that frequency to get there. And I believe once we do that, we'd be better off, because why should we have to wait for the movie to play out when we can manifest our own reality? I would love to know why I had that light projection, my body projection into base 211. Why is this number stuck with me? Am I a super soldier? That very well could be in one of my lives. I don't think it was in this actual life. It could have been a past life or a life I'm living concurrently. I'm multidimensional. So all of you, I have another life that I can see myself looking very Palladian. I got the braids on one side. I have the weapon on the other. And I'm at war on a ship. That's a concurrent life. I'm living in another vehicle. My soul fractal is in another vehicle right now. Is that my connection to space 211? Is that part of me working down there right now? I don't get too many snapshots of that, but we can only imagine that all of us have ties to some sort of program. James, again, his work is incredible. Go check out Super Soldier Talk. I don't get paid to promote anything. I'm telling you because a lot of people tell me they have abilities or they're having dreams and they can't place them anywhere. When I started listening to James 4 to 5 years ago, I started getting downloads of my other self living currently right now. I wouldn't have had that if he didn't speak and do PowerPoint presentations of Dracos and Greys. Now, he talks about my labs, and that's where the super soldiers are supposedly created, where they enlist people from the military. They bring them down into different bases around the world. I also think it's also in Antarctica, and they're testing on them. They have different programs, like the Hulk program. They have super soldiers and then Uber mentions. They have programs to turn a normal person into one of these beasts. They also down there as well. So maybe these stars are going down there and getting replaced clones. If Jason says Bridge 1 and Bridge 2 is closed, they're not making them anymore. Maybe they're still making them in Antarctica. That could definitely be one of those things that we're like, okay, this is scary because, we're listening to Jason and we're all like, okay, yeah, no, there's no more clones, but yet maybe that's why they were beckoned down there. Maybe they need a refresh. And maybe it is a white hat operation saying, okay, the movie's taking a little bit longer. Human expansion is taking a little bit longer. We got to kind of get the program to, rapidly increase. But if they're all looking like junk, we need a refresh. Well, maybe that's where they're going to get their refresh. The Draco in particular are the ones who have the ability to soul scalp, and they have the technology to implant themselves in humans. So they can take a soul out of a vehicle and implant their own selves into a human body. So a lot of people were asking me about the Draco, that they need machinery for that, and I believe that's also in base 211. That machinery collects the soul of the human, and now it is energy. They insert themselves, and here they are walking around in our vehicles as humans with consciousness. It's not a pretty thing to think about, but if you don't feed it your energy, they won't last that long. We keep feeding their energy. We keep manifesting their reality. The evil side Everybody thinks God wins. What aspect of God wins? God is everything. God is in everything. God said, let there be light. That vibratory state of saying created it all. God's in everything. You're a part of God. You're a fractal of source. You're a fractal of each and every one of you in the chat and each and every one of you in this world. That includes the negative people. That includes NPCs. NPCs might not have all of their soul, but they still are of source, even if they're not God sparked, because it's God's creation. Source, infinite intelligence, the prime creator, the all, the monad, whatever you want to equate to what created all of us. Also, to dispel something, each and every one of us were born by two parents with a bloodline. I don't necessarily believe that any one person has better bloodline, whatever. It's all within your encoding in your etherical DNA. Your fourth, fifth, and sixth density DNA is lying dormant within you. That's that junk. It can't be read yet. It can be read on this ancient technology, but it is not being read by our scientists right now. I was told, and I also have the flashbacks of remembering that I'm a part of Yeshua's bloodline. The reason why a lot of us don't have RH negative to our blood was because we needed to be invisible. We needed to be hidden because of what we all are and how powerful many of us are. All of you are powerful. You have to go within to find that power. I'm not special. That's why I don't, and this is not a disrespect to anybody that does this. I don't choose to put quantum shaman blah as a name. And it's not to be disrespectful. It's just because I'm a plain human being, but I know what I am in totality. That's really at the crux of what it is. I'm not special. I'm just like all of you. The reason why I'm here is to seed all of you thoughts and expand your minds. That's my job. That's one of many purposes. All of you came here with purposes, quests, and missions. It's not just one. We all serve so many purposes. For myself, I had the veil drop at a very early age, and it was partially dropped so that I can have an understanding and remembrance of who I am, so that when this time of now comes, I can help people steer the consciousness to the unity consciousness we're all headed to. When the shift happens, it's consciously. Please understand that it is consciously. Nothing's going to happen in a snap because that's not how it was designed. We all designed it. You have to start remembering. The law of one and quo says it's going to be gradual because all of us have a mission. All of us has a contract with source. We all are ascending at different times. And most of us will be passing away in our physical vehicle, this one here, because we're going to be given new bodies. Many of us are going to skip some dimensions because we've been there, done that. We only came here to help. So if I go out in my powder moment and I go back to my light being, I'd be the happiest person as in the world. But each and every one of you wrote a different kind of contract agreement with source. So no one really knows how it's going to happen, if it's going to happen anytime soon. Third dimension has to play out for a long time. We need to fix the wrongs. We're the ones who signed up for this mission. If we are able to get going and manifesting, we can manifest what is at Antarctica. What is it really Game of Thrones? I mean, I would love to see somebody pissing off the side of the wall. That'd be awesome. But is the firmament lifting? Are we actually going to the organic timeline where we're not going to be in quarantine anymore? And soft disclosure might be something that we see. And soft disclosure might take years. Because if the quarantine comes off, that means we're open fest for everything else. Fourth density is not a picnic either. It's not something that we're all fanciful and thinking it's fifth dimension, fifth density. Fourth dimension is an in-between fifth. We all have to learn how to have compassion and love, not just for loving the animals and nature and all the beautiful things. We have to love every component of source. So are you willing to give up the hate for the other side, the animosity, the anger, its source? I don't condone that side. I don't feed it my energy anymore. It's not even in my purview to even think about it. If I'm watching people, I'm watching their information objectively, coming into my heart space so that I'm in a better awareness of the things that people are discovering, but also I'm not paying my energy to it. I'm not expending myself to it. I'm not getting heated and angry and because I can see it in the chat, guys. I love you all, but I can see it and it's sad. Don't expend your energy that way. And we want to know why we're tired. We're upgrading. Feed your soul the beautiful portions of what you are. Find yourself, and you can only do that work for yourself. How do you look for yourself? Asking deeper questions of, why am I here? Why did this happen to me? These are the questions that we need to answer, and not every answer is going to be delivered to you on a silver platter out in front of the open. It's just not like that. It will come when it comes to you. Are you ready? I hope all of you are. I really do. The understanding that there's a huge picture and a larger picture and a vast picture. Could Antarctica really be fourth dimension? Fourth density. That's where Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, the leprechauns, the fairies, the fae, the unicorns, I think a lot of that exists in different realities and different timelines, but I believe a lot of them collectively are in Agartha. Is Antarctica a part of Agartha? Are we living in Jack Sparrow's Pirates of the Caribbean, where we get that sweet spot and we flip, and here is the fountain of youth? And I'm not talking about the stuff that is up here. We can only imagine these things, but are they real? We really don't know. I know for myself that I've been under the radar for a reason. I had to do 23andMe and Ancestry.com because I'm adopted. There was no way in my adoption that's closed that anybody was going to give me my information. I had to go out by myself and figure the cheapest way possible to find my parents. And it was through those two. Now, when I tapped in and asked my higher self, well, is this safe? Yeah, you're protected. So if I wasn't protected, I would have been gone by now. They would have sucked my physical vehicle through my portal in my closet in my old house. and would have said to me, well, here you are. Here's the light worker. Suck her energy dry and kill her, or clone her, or do whatever so that you can utilize her psychic abilities. And that's what they did in the Super Soldier projects. They used intuitive children. They Project MK Ultra'd them. They did some heinous things to get alters to come out. So they fractured a person's personality, and it's like multiple personality disorder, but they fracture them and then they become something else. And this is what they have been doing for eons. It started in Atlantis, and then it's been pushed forward ever since Atlantis. We have to remember, after the tectonic plates and all the continents are where they are as it stands right now, which we really don't know exactly the real locations of things. After that fell, the Council of Nine, the social memory complexes of Quo, which is the principle of Quo is also Ra. Latwi and Hatan, they're different density entities who come together and talk through channels. That's what the Law of One is all about. But they weren't just the only ones to come here. They were the ones responsible for Egypt, and they talk about it, that they did a lot of boo-boos. But their intention was to seed the Law of One. They were to seed it. Did it work? No, because there were still priests of the craft of the darkness working to invert everything that they were trying to lay out for humanity. All the technology that they were instilling in us, the pyramids, Giza in itself. I just read yesterday about the Sphinx, what the Sphinx is. All these things were positively put here to aid us, to heal us, to bring us forward, but it was inverted. And this is way before the time of Yeshua. So there is a lot that goes on from that time point. Now we want to think about the other social memory complexes, Quetzalcoatl. That whole Maya, Inca, South America clan was there. They were from a different social memory complex, but also of the light. Then you had the ones that came to the India, the Vedics, and then you have the Norse. And then you had North America, which also was Native American. There's a lot of different groups that claim over America. I don't know which perception yet I heart align with, so I won't say, the wing makers is one of them. I don't align with that. Your Rancha book is just an interpretation of what they got channeled through a person here. It's from the Urtites. A wasp is from the Anunnaki. It's a perception. When you see the perception of the world being interpreted to your frequency, truth is a frequency that you have a vibratory state to. So if you're at a certain level of frequency, truth is only at your frequency. When you elevate your frequency, the truth expands. More information comes out. This is a time now that we are all expanding and things are shifting, and we're seeing more and more of the layers. Who's behind the chessboard playing the pieces? Jason spoke about that eloquently yesterday. There are so many things that are twists and turns. You keep your enemies super close. Who are the enemies? Who are these people? And maybe the enemies are the real true light workers. They're playing a role. We can only imagine what is going to come forward, but I know the full moon is happening on the 25th. I know that a huge shift is starting to begin. We're going to be in Mercury retrograde. Sorry, guys. In Aries, not good. Don't let that worry you. But it's just new beginnings are coming in. What is a Mercury retrograde? All the things that no longer serve us are going to be out. All communications are going to be wonky. All the planetary alignments happening at this time happened in 1776 for the most part. What does this all mean? This cycle is ending. This cycle is ending. Damn it. I thought Jack just texted me. He's probably still sleeping. Poor guy. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm sorry, guys. I'm like now reading some of the comments. We have been lied to, but we put those lies in for a reason. The beautiful aspect of we want to project on outside of ourselves, like, oh, we're pointing the finger at different people for playing a role that God is playing. Remember, we wrote this. We wrote all of this because third density is school. This is a school. It is rough. It is tough. We all chose suffering. All of us chose suffering as a catalyst. So in a human body, we have emotions. We have karma. We have all this stuff that runs us. The ego runs us for the most part. And ego is not a bad thing either. We got to learn how to use our ego for the right purposes. We put those lies in, rewrote this. Why? Because with the greatest amount of suffering comes the greatest amount of change. The greatest amount of change is what is needed for all of us to deprogram, get not doctrinated anymore. We have now cycles upon cycles of all of our ancestries, all the lives you lived up to this point. We've all been programmed. We all been indoctrinated. We all, to a certain extent, have books that told us partial truths. Not all of them are false and not all of them are true. We have partials to so much of the greater scheme of the thing. Why do we ask for this? To grow our soul. Because in the higher densities, if you don't heal yourself and go through certain experiences for soul growth, you have to do it in a harder dimension and density without emotions and with more of a telepathic mind. Everybody knows your thoughts. Everybody knows your shit. Here, unless you are telepathic, you can read other people, but you're not that kind of asshole to tell people secrets out loud. That's not cool, right? We keep a lot of our personal lives inside. You don't have a personal life in higher dimensions. So just imagine going through life like you are now, that everybody knows your shit. You're not going to learn so much. We chose the harder path. We chose this life. And many of us already graduated multiple times. Many of us are here just as wanderers. Many of us are here that volunteered to come back to hold a space, be the light frequency. We came here to clear the grids, and that's one of my jobs, to clear the grids of the earth. As much as I live in my higher self and I live in two worlds and I'm more anchored to the universe, I still have to be anchored down here because, again, I'm human. This is home. For right now, this is home. Yes, you have starseed selves, but you have to remember, source is everything. Source is the infinitude of energy. You individuated yourselves like a tree, and you multiply. You are many, many, many different bodies, many different personalities, different essences, celestial, astral. You're on all planes of the field. Your soul is so much more than you are in this body. You have a little percentage of your soul in this vehicle. This is what's conscious. Now, if you can go into your multidimensional self, you will start seeing your other selves that are living concurrently right now. They're just not here in this dimension. They're in other realities, other timelines, other dimensions that are all inhibiting 3 and 4D. And my camera is doing it again. Sorry for anybody who has motion sickness. I can't control it. Can't control it. Goodness sakes. We are what makes the universe tick. We are the ones that feed our will and intention to formulate this construct. So we all agreed to certain things in our construct to learn, to grow, to thrive. It is interesting that we project everything on outside of ourselves. We can't blame ourselves for anything because we always project it outside of ourselves. When you take accountability that you wrote this story, you wrote good and evil, you enacted both good and evil. There are days that I wake up, I'm a bitch. You know, I'm a New Yorker with an attitude. I curse. I have done not great things, but I wrote those things in for myself to learn from. I take now everything as an experience of growth and learning. If you personalize everything because we have those human emotions and you don't detach, you create suffering. You create that field of energy that perpetually is outside of you because you're a magnet, you're electric, and you're just putting negative energy outside and you're attracting the negative energy back into yourself. When you can claim and say, okay, I wrote this, I wrote my life, I wrote my story, and so did everybody else, then you can take accountability and say, okay, I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to project better out into the world. I'm going to will to power peace and harmony into this universe. Then will all of us see fourth density. And it's not going to be as different from third. It's a stair step. It's just a higher wave of thinking. And eventually we will all collectively manifest the fairies and sparkle farts and beautiful colors and beautiful things. But we can't do that if we're stuck looking back there, feeding them energy and manifesting things that aren't for our highest and good. And that highest and good is just where we're perceiving it as. There is an infinitude of highest and good. The heights can be forever gotten when you step into your empowerment, when you take control of who you are at a soul level, when you understand you are source. Nothing is outside of you. What is outside of you is a projection. It's a mirror. That's all it is. And right now, the difficulty with all of us, I'm included in this, is purging. We are purging the negative energy, the past, the cycles that all of us are ending for our ancestors. So we have repetitive cycles and programming that are purging out of us, and it's now reflecting inside the outer world. That's what is playing out in the theaters near you in front of us. Stop feeding everybody's carrot on a stick. I can't say that enough. As much as we want certain things to happen, are they for our best and highest to see it? I would love to see the aliens. I've seen them in physicality. I've seen them with my own two eyes. And I've also been taken in vivid dreams and taken into my light body and met some of them. They're all, half of them are neutral. We don't even know about them. We don't know their names. I don't know their names. I know one or two star seed selves, but we were everything before we came here, and we're also on the negative side. Would your soul judge itself? Source is the only one that can judge. If the Draco came and they infiltrated this matrix hologram that's guided by ontological mathematics, we put them there. They are the greatest challenge for us to grow from, to learn from, and to understand the negative side. What makes them tick? How does it make them tick so that we don't go that direction again and we don't get fooled? I think a lot of our friends in other countries that were in World War II got fooled. There's a world war. Consciousness isn't that high. Everybody's grabbing for sticks to see who can win a war. We really don't know the race's intentions at that time. Were they really trying to help us? Did they really see our friend in Germany as a hero? We don't know. Were their intentions actually good? But we know from what's been happening with Stargates, with the wars, and with who's in the puppets being strung, that these things are not okay. We all signed up to be mission spirits at one point, but to have to experience the heaviness of density in the third dimension, seeing the wars play out perpetually, and that we keep getting stuck in the negative polarized cycle. This is our last opportunity to polarize positive. This is the last shot for another 76,000 years, whatever it is that third density runs from the beginning all the way to the end. This is the last chance for many of us to stand in our convictions, let go of the outside junk playing out here, and do the work and raise your frequency, because that is what actually is going to bring us forward. Then we will be able to have that disclosure that we all been wanting, to find out, okay, so what was really happening in a lot of those bases? What's been happening to us? We won't know that if we're not doing the work to get there. We all want fanciful things. I want to see the Fae. I know I have a lot of guides that are me, that are Fae, the fairies. I know I have dragon guides. Dragons, again, positive, negative. We live in duality, and we're starting to merge out of that duality. That's what fourth density really is. It's learning how to not be in duality. Duality still plays out. There's still a role for it. But this is where you learn how to shed your shit and come into neutrality and let go. Many of us of the higher frequencies of the volunteers who have come down already are experiencing the neutrality here in this realm. I know I am. I'm detaching emotionally from things that no longer serve me. I'm not allowing other people to dictate to me how to feel. And that's on either side. We have to remember a certain side played you fear, 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 fear. Now we have our group doing fear, fear, fear. What's the difference? Please explain it to me. Oh, because they're telling you what you want to hear. Oh, this person's that person. There's a lot of different types of Draco, FYI. We'll go into it because I see a comment here. There's the Omicron Draconian. There are the Jehovian Draconian. There are hybrids of the Anunnaki and the Draco together. They combined. Great. They're hybrid. Then you have the reptoids that are of gray hybridization. There's a lot of hybrids, and there's a lot of different group and race groups from different matrices that combine together. And here we go, Draco City. And it's not just negative Draco. There are positive Draco. Just because they have wings and they look evil doesn't make them so. You wrote that for that entity. Not all are evil and not all are good. Just like humans, half of us are really good people and the other half are, they're bad. That's why I'm reading on my channel. I know a lot of people don't like this man, but he has a lot of good tidbits, and I do a lot of reading off of this book, Beyond Good and Evil. We have to see beyond it. You want things to be good, we all do, but we can't be naive, and we need to come into realistic reality to say, okay, these things do exist. The Anunnaki can do what they want. I don't think they're our saviors. I don't think they're coming here to save humanity. I think they have an agenda at foot, and so does a lot of these other races. Remember, they're higher density. They have more consciousness on us, and they can outthink us. That's why there's so many of us here remembering. The Great Awakening is really the Great Remembering. You are remembering your God self in all totality. Are you going to be aware of it all? No, I'm not going to be aware of 28,628 lives. That's just impossible in this little tiny vehicle that I own. But I've been revealed a lot of things that I need in this life to project myself and pull myself forward. So I'm not stuck here again. That's not in my contract. By the way, there are people who will have to repeat third. There are people who did do this that couldn't handle what is coming in terms of frequency and energy. Just because someone did that, we need to stop judging, number one, because that's not our jobs. Our jobs is to help. Yeah, do I not like the people that told me I was going to kill them? Like literally, they were fearful to be near me because they thought I was going to kill them. I give them empathy and grace because they're not at the level of awareness that I'm at. We got to flip these things around. Everything is spellcasting, so let's spellcast for the positive instead of for the negative. It's hard. And it is not easy wanting to pull out the Amish dull blade wood chippers. We want to pull them out. We got to understand that that's up to source. I am not the judge, jury, and executioner in this life. I did not sign up to be down in the spa doing that job. That's not my role this time. This time, my role is to be here helping all of you get your expanded awareness and expand. Learn yourselves from the past up until now and into your future, because time does not exist the same way up there all around you than it does here. We are already in fourth. And how can I prove that to you is by the scientists that, they're not good or evil. They're, kids picking and plucking off the ether like Tesla did. Tesla got channeled, and so does a lot of these gifted physicists and quantum physicists. And we can see there are new laws of science and physics coming out. There are new discoveries happening. What I do also on this channel is discover all those experiments happening. Is it for our highest, right in the now moment good? CERN, this new FCC, there's new facilities being built. Is this for our good or is this of the bad? Is this Atlantis 2.0? And if so, how are we going to stop this? In order to manifest, you need to put action into motion to have a cause and effect. So just like I keep saying about my move, I had to actually physically pack my house, and I had to actually put work into finding another location to move to and doing work. It's not sitting back and going, I'm gonna popcorn, popcorn, popcorn. How much popcorn already have we ate? How much popcorn? I can't even do popcorn anymore. I know my girl Dina can do popcorn, but I can't do popcorn too much longer. It's getting stale. I'm waiting for my big popcorn moment. And I think all of us have. And we keep seeing year after year, time after time, dates flying by, and not that nothing is happening, but this is my problem with that. At some point, when a person goes, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do you really think they're going to get it? Well, that really wasn't him. So why did you project that as him? Well, you could see this. Okay, but a normal person might not see that. Remember, we're all programmed to an extent, and they are really heavily indoctrinated and really heavily programmed. They are only going into their own heart space and feeling what truth is for them. We got to give them compassion for not seeing it. But if we are in a fantasy world and an illusion, then all of this stuff that's happening, why aren't they coming out already and saying, oh, well, today our princess in Kekland got diagnosed with the C word. We know what that means, but does a normal person do? Oh my gosh. And feeling the emotions. The same thing with the UFOs and the disclosure movement. There is so many of these amazing people, okay? Amazing people. And I have a whole slack of books behind me with those amazing people that have been trying to get the word out for decades, in years, and no one really listened to them besides the people who had the awareness to. They've been fighting, and there's infighting because there's infiltration. When we stop focusing on who's bad, who's good, who's this, and start going into your heart, then follow somebody. Once you go into your heart and it aligns with somebody, then you can go, oh, okay. But don't trust everything someone says. You have to feel it, know it, and absorb it for yourself. When you can embody everything and walk out into society and confidently, without being the narcissist, be confident about who you are. I could care less what people think I'm batshit crazy for saying what I do. I've been looked at as a batshit crazy person my whole life, so I own it and I do it. Are you walking in your authenticity? Are you being happy? If you're not happy, ask yourself what will make you happy. And that's not something outside of yourself. That all stems within. It's a vibration. Are you meeting it? Hi, everybody in the chat. Hi. I see all of you. Thank you all for coming. I am so blessed that a lot of you have found me. I saw a comment about triggers, and I'm just blazing by. It's not because I don't see your name. Hi, everybody. I love all of you because you're all very precious. Let's see if I can get the hearts going. Yeah, I did it. Triggers are lessons that we need to learn. So when someone triggers you, now analyze why that made you angry, or why that made you anxious, why that made you nervous. When someone triggers you, that's something you need to heal from within. that answer might not come right away. You might not know why that made you angry, because sometimes things happen like this and you're like, right? But then analyze it, deconstruct it. That's why I went to art school, to learn how to deconstruct pieces of shit artwork. Like there's artists that have a freaking dot on a canvas and it's $1 million. Like, what the fuck is that bullshit? But I would have to sit there and deconstruct it in a positive, constructive way, because who knows, someone might have like sat there for a year and go, oh, and that has huge meaning for them. Why would I want to take that away from somebody if that's even though it took a physical dot took 2 seconds, maybe that person had to sit there and formulate that idea for a year. Who knows? But when we are sitting and thinking about all of these things, deconstruct constructively. I've had to look at some pieces of artwork that I was like a little flabbergasted at. And that's kind of why I gave Jack the dog picture, the dog portrait that I did. Because someone out there might not like it. That's okay. This world is metaphysics. You are the only person that sees from your viewpoint. If I sat all of you in a circled room and told you to pick an easel, a room with windows all around you, the sun is shining on one side of the room and there's clouds on the other, your light is getting distorted. The objects you're drawing in the middle of the room are the same objects. We're just seeing it in our own unique perspective, and that's how this reality works. You are projecting outside of yourself, your manifested world. You're willing into focus collectively, we all do, what this world looks like. So when we all focus together for a bigger picture, it's going to take a lot longer to manifest. We need to will into focus what we all strive to want. I know a lot of us want beautiful, exciting harmony, peace, prosperity for all of us. And I put that out each and every day in my meditations and in all my works. I try to exude that. Yeah, there's some days I wake up and I feel like poo. I'm still doing the best that I can on a daily basis to put healing and love out to the world and to everything and everybody. How do you kill, metaphorically speaking, these evil things? By kindness and love. But we don't allow these things to step on us. That's why we have to create boundaries. This is why we're purging. You have to establish in this new world, this change, boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay that you don't align with somebody else. It's okay that you were friends for 25 years and something happened and now they're out of your life. Well, that was for a reason. They were here for a season. Thank that person. And you could just say it out loud. Thank you for that experience. I needed that lesson. I needed you for whatever it was that I needed you for, and let it go. Release it. Because it's now over there and you're moving forward. You're not looking back. You're moving forward. When we're looking at the aliens, when we're looking at the different types of things going on in our universe, it has been infiltrated, and a lot of it was written for us to have an experience. We can only write what we can handle into our lives. That's the manner of our death, our birth, our family, our parents, our catalysts. We wrote all of these things because upstairs we're mighty ignorant and going, okay, we got this. And we come down here, we forget it all, and then we're lost. We're thinking about it. And FYI, because I know someone's going to do that out there. Yes, I have green eyes and they do shift. No, I'm not reptilian, by the way. Just saying, if it's in my DNA, cool. But I know that my eyes do. I could be Lyran and I could be a kitty cat. Just putting that one out there. Because I know some people are focused on like people's eyes crossing. We also have to remember that there's other species of alien extraterrestrials that eyes shift too. Angelics also have shifting eyes. I'm angelic. And many of you are too. So just because someone puts slits of the eyes doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil. Are you reading someone's intentions? Are you reading someone's aura? Are you reading their frequency? If you can do that, try that. Try reading other people objectively, not with a bias. And you're going to start seeing more and more who is really serving the light and who's really serving the darkness. And when you can establish that, you come to neutrality and you objectively go back and forth and go, okay, now I see the full picture of what is being played in front of me. Now I can go in and into myself to see where I want to lead my own body and my soul. What direction, what agenda? It's all agenda based. It's all about your remembering yourself and how vast you are. So yes, not everybody is artists, but here's the thing. Because Jack is sleeping, Jack sent me the cutest little childlike drawing ever. It is adorable. I am not going to embarrass him. I'm not going to embarrass him, but it's the cutest thing in the world. It's not about what your art looks like. It's the act of creating. That is what you're here to do. And there's people who do music. There's people who write. There's people who do singing. There's people who do so many amazing, beautiful projects. And just being creative, thinking outside of the abstract metaphorical box. Like, I don't know what I'm putting in these things. I just, when I feel the energy of the stones, I just start pouring and holding and clearing and cleansing. And I just make different, I put the energies together and here it is. Same thing with my paintings. And that's just little tiny examples of what I do. And that's not necessarily my painting work, but I just go at it. It doesn't matter. I'm a perfectionist, but I went to art school, but not everybody's going to be a fan of mine, and that's okay. Get your creativity out. Even if that's just through mandalas and coloring, it helps stimulate your brain. And here's a challenge to some of you that want to work with both sides of your brain. I'm a dominant right, but I'm also ambidextrous and can do my left. I have to really work at it to write and draw with my left hand. That's how you get your brain to come together. Oh, the angels are always calling me, friend. Most of the time that I'm doing my videos, especially my videos, and even now I'm starting to get it, I'm channeling. And that's all the other aspects of myself. I happen to have archangels working through me, channeling through me. I also have, now that I'm aware of it, the social complex principle of quo. I'm from that social memory complex. A social memory complex is like kind of what we all are together. We're a family and a tribe. We all have similarities in the way we think, Is everyone identical in our thinking? No. Right? But that's okay. It's a collection of all of us that speaks in one. It's not hive mind, because that energy, quo, when channeled, is speaking from different other densities and dimensions, other unique aspects of source that are embodied in density, but higher than us. They collectively come together and they formulate what's coming out of a person in trance. I just happen to be consciously doing it. So I'm sometimes not aware of which aspect of myself is speaking through me, which is not fun. And I don't like to go into trance right now because the energy where I'm sitting at, and not necessarily my house, but the overall area around here needs to be cleared. And I'm looking for shamans and I'm looking for nations people to come here to help me. I need a group of people to come here and clear the ley lines around here. And that's grid work. Can't go and do the things I need to do spiritually until that line is clear. If I really want to go in trance, I do it in my sleep, and I know that I'm being protected because I'm in my sleep. And a lot of you know, were watching Turn the Page with Janine, when I was sitting there and holding the energy in the space for the gremlins to clear, I'm literally seeing my light body project into the wires and opening up channels. So I hold a lot of energy and a lot of space. And that is a reason why I do what I do. And that's why I'm here incarnated right now for the time is now. If you want an understanding of what is going to be taking place, I'm going to be doing a more intensive video on time laterals, that fun concept. I'm still tracking down the concept of that, but I really honestly feel that we were taken out. And then we're merging back with the organic timeline, which is the proper timeline we should be on. Because I believe in 2012 was when we really actually did blow ourselves out. I believe CERN, many of the timelines, because they're timelines, so what happens right here and now, the opposite is happening in the other dimensional spaces. Dolores Cannon talks about this. I do believe that we kablooied, and that we were brought back to the second before it happened, and they took us into another timeline, another density, another matrix. And we're all time traveling back to where we were before that God spark went off in CERN. Yeah, so there's a lot of, I don't believe there's any place around the world that has not hollow ground. So as someone that grew up seeing ghosts and dealing with demons and dealing with extraterrestrials, because they're very much a part of that consciousness as well, there is so much underneath us because of that time of Atlantis. A lot of us who were inhabited and were saved, it goes through that story in this book, were ushered underground. If you hold the frequency, you were being saved. You went underground. You went to Agartha, or you went into Middle Earth. You were saved from the cataclysm that took place. Not all land was massacred by water, but a lot of it was. And a lot of those people were saved because they went underground and they took the high ground in ground. So just think about those concepts. most of us came from that time frame, and we already ascended, and we came back down to help out because we knew, here's another hard truth to come into consciousness with. In the other matrices that did infiltrate ours, if we look at it as a game, there are a lot of souls who didn't necessarily want to be a part of the evil agenda, but didn't have a choice. And a lot of us are here to save those souls that got distorted in time space, was brought here in the wrong intention, and they got wrapped up in the negativity. Remember, a lot of us played those roles in other lifetimes. We were the ones who murdered. We were the ones who sacrificed. So should you hold your soul accountable for a life that you can't remember? But most of us all definitely had one of those lives that we were the evil thing, doing heinous, horrible things. Should we hold our entire complexity of our soul responsible for that one lifetime because we came as source to have an experience? Really think about that deeply. You are everything before you came into this vehicle. Every race, color, you've lived in different countries. I'm just talking about the human aspect of you. You did some horrible things in some of your lives. Even in this life. All is experience. When you could see it as that, claim it as that, it's just an experience. And we're all contracted. So the person that you hurt needed that catalyst you gave them. That person that hurt you, they were waking something up in you to learn. Look at it objectively. And I'm not saying not to have feelings. I know people think like I'm detached from emotional states and feelings, like, oh, detached from this, but how can she love somebody? Because I can, but looking at things objectively and not letting it run my life. When I had to heal not just my birth family, my ancestry from my birth family, and now I'm the black sheep of both families, and I got to dispel all of that programming. It's heavy. It's like a lotus. Each part of that flower before it blossoms opens up in little bits. And each has a layer of shit that we got to clear in order to see the complete beauty of it. So just keep in mind that you got to go into release, forgive yourself. We're not perfect. We're the best versions we are for right now. And we're going to merge forward. And I'm hoping that we can all see more of what's happening in our skies. A lot of it's still hidden from us because it is in us to raise the frequency to see it. There's things whizzing about all day long. You just can't perceive it with your 3D eyes. When you can go within and do the work, you're going to start seeing more and more. They're not going to have to cloak. They cloak to be under radar. They have under tunnel bases. We weren't the first ones here. And even if 21 races came together to give us our DNA, we're Lyran. We came from Lyra. The humanoid genetic coding, the Christic spark, comes from Lyra. So if they tell you the Anunnaki made your body, yeah, they could have had a hand in it. So could the Draco, and so could the Greys. They could have had a reason why they made these vehicles, right? That doesn't mean that's your soul. And even if collectively there's 21 races that make us up. 21. Not Draco and not just Anunnaki. The Syrians, Palladians, Octurians, Antarians, Andromedans, everything within our grasp made us up in the physical vehicle form. It wasn't just Anunnaki. Fables and myths. And each and every one of us was those races before we came into this vehicle. That's why I can claim I had 26,628 lives. And that's all cycles of being in density. That's not including my light being. I'm very old in a very young vehicle. So the war is going to be playing outside of us. It's up to you to go in and say, okay, really, what is this war? And how am I fighting? What is this? How do we steer away from this war? Is the war happening within yourself? That's what we have to ask. Thank you, Buckshot, for helping me. This was like one of those last minute on the spot kind of deals. I saw, is it Sparky? You should only see what Jack drew for me. It's the cutest thing ever, and I'm so proud of him for sharing that. Yeah. I'm just catching up on some of the comments, guys. A lot of I see the comment from Bite Me from 2012. So there's a lot of prophecy and a lot of channeling that took place. The Law of One happened in the 1980s. And also Ashiana Dean's work was pre-2012. So all the collection of channelings that people got from the higher dimensional spaces, they were being told like our ascension was supposed to happen in 2012. So just like Nisara Jacera was supposed to happen during 9/11, what do you think they did? Oh, we're going to go use CERN and cause a catalyst to happen. So that throws us off of the cycle of 2012. I don't think they were wrong about anything that they were saying. I just think it was on twofold ways. It was purposely done to throw us off because I don't think we were ready yet at that time. I don't think enough of us were aware in a fuller sense. And I don't think the planet was ready for it either. We've always been awake. It's coming into the awareness space of that awakeness. That's really where I feel that it is going on. That there is an awareness that we didn't have in 2012. And even though there were lots of people awake and doing the work and trying to hint at us in a secretive kind of way, like, hey guys, wake up, look what's going on. Yeah, that didn't happen. I totally thought that was Jack calling it. It's not Jack. I'm so sad, Jack. Yeah, so when it comes to, anything happening on the outside, anything dealing with products, do your research, tap within yourself. If I would have waited for everybody to tell me that stuff was going to happen I would have been homeless. Hey, Allison, don't worry about it. It's going to happen. Your credit cards are going to be wiped out. You're going to get whatever you're owed. It's going to come to you. Don't worry. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. At the meantime, I was 97 pounds, emaciated, and waiting to move. And I didn't really receive the help that I thought I was going to get, but it's okay. I survived, right? But if I kind of kept going, oh, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, I would have never made the move to move and get out of my bad situation. So I had to go within and do the work on myself to say, okay, if this happens, great. But if it doesn't happen, I'm here to live. I'm not here to die or be on the streets. What are my choices? And I have to ask the same for all of you. What are your choices? What are you feeding your energy? As much as we want to look on the outside, it's all going to be very chaotic in the next couple of months. Give it 6 months. We're going through a Mercury retrograde. I think it starts today or tomorrow. We got that full moon coming in. That's clearing. That's going to start, for me, that would be the beginning of the consciousness shift. And that is going to roll out over the next 6 months. April 8th is the radiant energy flowing in through the universe from our logos, the sun. And it's going to start awakening people, and people are start remembering, and your energy is going to change. You're going to feel like poo. You're going to detox naturally. You're going to purge emotional states. There are people projecting their shit onto people. Just be compassionate because it's subconscious. A lot of the programming happening back here in the mind that we're not aware of, it's coming to surface. So please be compassionate with other people, give people grace. Yeah, put your boundaries up, but be kind, because you're going to see a lot of things. People are going to be venting. Be the shoulder to lean on if you are past the shadow self. Please be the guide for other people. If you are one that's healed, or you're a light worker that can hold the energy and frequency for somebody. There's a lot of people purging right now. A lot of people going through a lot of distorted feelings. A lot of projecting is happening. Feeling inadequate, not worthy, frustrated, feeling exhausted. I'm done with this exact movie. Collect yourself and go to neutral. Ask yourself why. And only in that spot, in that time, will you be able to answer why. It's crazy to think. It's crazy to think. Yes, the sparkle farts. So farts can be smelly and gross, but they can also be sparkly and pretty to look at. It depends what and how that manner of that is looking for. I totally am exhaustedly hungry for carrot cake. I didn't eat today. I only had coffee. And here's the thing. We always say, don't fear. But fear is a flight or fight response that we all have within us. Fear is not a bad thing unless you make it that way, unless you dwell in it. Like if I'm out in the middle of the street and a car is out of control and it's too close to me and I'm like, right? That's fear, but that's practical fear. When someone's saying the earth is going to shift and everybody's going to flood and there's earthquakes and there's this and there is that. Do we really know if that's really going to happen? And that's causing anxiety, and that's causing fear, and that's projecting out into the world that's going to create it. Fear in the unknown is the biggest fear that we all have to get over. I did not know when I started to really get close to actually selling my house where the F I was going. Zero clue. Zero. And it was freaking me out because everywhere I was looking, I was getting priced out of where my budget was to buy a house or to at least rent an apartment and figure it out. Like the rents were too high. The houses that were in my budget needed to be knocked down and rebuilt. I didn't have that kind of money. I didn't have that kind of time. And I was freaking out. I was psyching myself out. And then one day I said to myself, this is complete, utter BS. I'm going to give that to the universe and say to my parents and say to my higher self, okay, I am putting faith in you to guide me in the right direction. And I stopped worrying about it. And that day came and I booked a hotel. I was able to get my cats in. And I lived 25 days in a hotel, and I was freaking out about that because I didn't know if I was going to find a house. I gave it all to the universe. I stopped fearing. I stopped expecting. And when I did stop expecting, especially another person in my life, a significant other, it rang my fucking doorbell. It rang my doorbell. We got to let go. We're not going to know what fourth density really looks like. Even if we want to try to even remember that, we're still in 3D. There's still a veil there. It will slowly come up. So slowly honor yourself and give to the universe your faith that things are going to be okay. Feed the positivity. Be objective. Sparkle farts and unicorns and fairies exist, but that's not going to happen for a while. Be realistic in your thinking, be logical also, but also be abstract. You got to cross-breed your mind. If we can do this together as a collective, we're going to move forward quicker. The reality that we're all thriving and wanting for ourselves will come into manifestation. So are you guys ready for that? I hope you are, because I am. I'm tired, like a lot of you are. And I just want everybody to be happy and prosperous. That it's just as simple as that. Yes, Mr. Scott Pace, only control when you can control God, our creator, will help with everything else. And that's also the God coming through you. It's okay. Gremlins are okay. We wrote a lot. So miracles are also in a lot of these things, just guys, taking the fact that it's my perception and interpretation. Yours can be different, and that's okay. We all have common minds. So miracles are something that I definitely absolutely believe in, but I also believe we wrote those in for us to help us go, oh, wow, how powerful are we? How powerful is source? Oh, shit. It's a reality check. Oh, and for everybody wanting to know why I'm not on Rumble, I had my account synced from YouTube to Rumble, something disconnected. I don't know how to fix it, but you have to pay moolah to go live on Rumble. So as much as I can do that for WeNotMe, I can't do that for myself because I don't have the fundage to go live on Rumble. And with my videos, I do a lot of editing so that everything is concise. Like me just chatting with you guys is one thing, right? But yes, El Sunray, absolutely. I mean, with any platform, you have to pay for it. Like Zoom is a fee if I want to have like over 100 people on my thing, but to go live, you have to have a fee. So you have to pay a yearly due. YouTube is free. I didn't have to pay to go live. I just had to have a certain number of subscribers on my channel. And I didn't have to pay for my account. When it comes to Rumble, you have to pay to go live. Um, Not fun. But eventually I'm hoping to get a job very soon in the field that I'm supposed to be in. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to be doing my videos. It just means I'll be having steady income to work with. Because right now my work is not steady. I don't expect, everybody to go to my store and buy stuff from me. That's not the point. And I don't sell my stuff for an extraordinary amount of money that I'm only getting a little bit back. These materials are not cheap. Like the epoxy, I just got a 2-gallon epoxy I got on sale for $108. Like that's cheap. Like it's usually almost up to $200. The gems, they fluctuate in price. Like that's a lot of epoxy. This has to be at least 2 pounds. Like these have these like big pyramids. This is about 5 pounds. This is like 5 pounds. It's heavy. I love gremlins. I love Gizmo, but I don't put them in the water. I don't do that. I'm reading some of the comments. So God is you. God is also outside of yourself because it's energy. Trust yourself because source is running and having an experience through you. Source is upstairs. Source is everything. Source is this because it's a creative thinking. It's creative thought. Someone had to invent the materials in order for me to create this, and it is still up source's creation and energy. So don't seek anything outside of yourself. And those of you of the Christos paradigm, that also is within you. That's encoding, DNA encoding within you. It's just not in this frequency just yet. You're coming into that frequency. Those people that are passing away right now are meant to. They're not here. That doesn't mean they're not ascending. Some of them are going to ascend to fourth density, just getting a new vehicle. That's all. Some people's physical vehicles are unable to handle the vibratory states, the encodes, the downloads, the Schumann resonance. All of that affects your body heavily. And if we're allowing that source of energy to come in, many people can't handle it. So they're getting new vehicles. That doesn't mean they're not them. They're just getting another vehicle to have that experience in fourth density. My cat, Morgan, is my second density self. So a portion of my soul is in Morgan Cat, having an experience with me to learn how to be a human, because when she passes away and when the cycle ends, she will be human. So you're always going to have other souls. other entities you're playing. And that is your animals. A lot of you have high attachments to your animals. You like one of them has more of a connection to you than any of the other ones you had, right? There are a lot of people that say it's not favoritism. It's because you feel something you can't put words to that that animal has that you know, because it's you. A part of you, a little portion of you is in that animal. And that's because you're here to guide them and teach them how to become human. So when their cycle begins in third density, they're starting from the beginning. Don't think you're not going to be their guide. You're going to be your animal's guide because they're going to be human and you're going to be helping them throughout their experience. And that's just one aspect of your soul doing it. Like my parents, that passed on. My mom's a starseed. She's out having fun. She already incarnated in one or two other vehicles right now. But if I call on her soul, that portion of her comes to me immediately. She's here. My father is probably also already incarnated. He's my guardian. He's a guide to me. But he's also already incarnated. Your soul is so complex and so huge. Try to embody those things. You're just one little tiny like your starseed self. It's not just the Pleiades that you belong to. You belong to many and more cultures and terrestrial beings. You're just remembering that one snapshot of a life. Or you have an infinity to that life, because that's what you're remembering right now. That's what's being stirred up in your activations. So take that in mind, that you're way more than that. I started with my past selves. I was remembering my other lives. I was having reoccurring dreams, seeing the same thing over and over as I was growing up. Then it merged into visions. Then it merged into, I'm a starseed. Holy shit. And I thought I was just one. Oh, no, no, no. I was like stuck on the one. Then other things started popping up for me. And then the angelics started coming through. And I'm like, okay, what the hell is this now? Why am I seeing myself with wings? Why do I look like a Valkyrie? And yeah, because a portion of my essence is also Freya. There's 100 other people out there also with Freya fragments in them. Just like there's a lot of other people with Jesus and Mary and all the other aspects. There's millions of people that have those fractals in them. It's not just one person that exhibits Jesus or that can get Bashar or Quo or Ra or whoever else you want to channel or take in. You are a component of the universe. You are a speck of sand amongst the time. You're everything. Watch Powder. You are the trees. You are somebody experiencing a gondola ride in Italy right now. You are energy. Embrace it. And embrace the fact that we are also alien. And it's okay, and it's a beautiful thing. We all come from source. And that's where we need to focus our energy on, because that's what's going to bring us and shift us. And I'm very thankful and happy that everybody who has ordered from me is enjoying their pieces. It brings so much gratitude to my heart and so much humbleness that people are entrusting my energy in the work that I'm doing, that they're getting results. They feel an emotion. They feel the energy coming out of it. You know, not everybody can read energy. Not everybody is aware of the energy. But when people do that work and they tap in, they do feel a difference. So I'm very thankful for all of you who have ordered for me. And it's okay that you can't right now. I know people are having a very hard time with their pocketbooks. That's why I made everything cost effective. I don't have prices on the website. The website is just to view. Not everything there is also for sale because it's just a portfolio. The pyramids I make are way more than $150 for the large ones. But that's what I'm charging. And if you're in the United States, I don't add on shipping. That's on me. I want you to heal. I want you to get the frequency. I want you to get what you're putting into it. That's the most important part. The smaller medium pyramids go from 140 to 80 bucks, depending on your price point. And the fact of the matter is, I'm willing to work with people. Most of these I give away. Candles, they have gems in them. I lit this one. This is a frankincense one. $15. That's with shipping included. Shipping is expensive. So I'm making everything to cost. So I don't want people to feel like you can't get something. Even these little paintings back here, people think they're like $3,000. 100 because they're heavy. And some of them are not even that. Some of them I charge only 40. So I try to be at cost. I try to do what I can for others. That's why I'm here. I'm a service of source. There's service to others, service to self, service to source. I'm a service to source. I'm a service to all of you. Put it that way, plainly. No, shipping ain't cheap. And that's why some people think the pyramids are pricey. But if I told you how much I paid in the copper, how much I paid for the silver and aluminum, and all the other stones that are over like $30 to order for like a, I get wholesale, but even at wholesale, certain gems are expensive. So I just want to put that out there for everybody. I'm not here to rip anybody off or to grift. I'm just here trying to make an honest living and trying to be happy. This is my happy place. I love making and creating. That's the portion of source running through me. And that's what I want to impart on all of you. For those of you who are interested, you don't have to be. But this is how I make my living for now, till I get a job. So guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today. Sending each and every one of you love, light, protection, shielding, compassion, grace, and most of all, plasma 12D shielding. We're going to need it. Please don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button because I didn't get to do this. Was on the fly because Jack fell asleep. Thank you all to the people on Rumble who came over to the blue button tube. Thank you for coming here. And I hope a lot of you who didn't know I even had a channel now know I have a channel. And hopefully, when Jack wakes up, we can reschedule and I can talk a little bit about the articles that I found on Antarctica. I didn't want to go too deep because if Jack wants to do it with me, I'm more than happy to do it with Jack. But I didn't want to give all the goodies out on Antarctica just because Jack might want to do a show with me again. And it's okay, Jack. If you watch this, we love you so much. And I'm glad that you're sleeping. I'm for somebody that you need rest. So guys, thank you so very much. And And if we want to keep doing lives, I might invite some people to come join me. I'll get some content going and see and go from there. Hey guys, love you all. Be good, be seen, be safe. Take a deep breath. We're going to get through this together. And until the next time, guys,